Hello Year 8, welcome to lesson 2 of virtual school in the art department. It's Miss Kent here. I'm currently on the floor of my kitchen. I've laid down some newspaper and I'm ready to give you a little demo, as we're normally used to, of how to do today's task. So, to begin with, I have mixed up a couple of mixtures of coffee. So quite a lot of you use this within the previous couple of lessons while we're in school for your final pieces, and we learned how to mix it, and we're now going to learn about mark making. So we kind of know a little bit about textures, how something is perceived on paper. So if I was to do some cross hatching, it might make that area look quite rough. If I was to do something that looked quite fluffy, so lots of short lines put together, that might make the area of the drawing look quite fluffy. So we're then going to be doing some mark making with some utensils that you find around the house, and also with the media of coffee. So we are using coffee because we're doing the environmental project. We're looking to reuse items, and so you're going to have to spend a couple of minutes just going around the house thinking quite carefully what you could use, not ruin, but use temporarily to make some marks with this media. Now, after you've collected some of your materials, you need to boil the kettle and you need to start to create your two mugs, not even that full. I've only got about a centimetre or two in each, of just coffee. So I've used coffee granules. Doesn't have to be any specific coffee. Granules are better than espresso or instant filter coffees. So the instant granules are much better for this. Coffee pot number 1, I have put in about 50-50, 1 cup or 1 measure of 1 teaspoon of coffee, and then I've put in the 50% as well of water. So it's quite well diluted. It's not very strong. The other one, I've put more coffee in than water. So I've got about 2/3 coffee to 1/3 water. So if I just use my pad here and just a simple brush, you can see that this one is going to be, I've got some bits in this one. This one's going to be a lot stronger than the other one. So this one's quite weak. Okay, now what you now need to do is you need to consider, rather than using a brush, how you can use the coffee in your kitchen floor or wherever you're going to be, just to produce some nice marks. So all I've got here is a fork, and I'm trying to do potentially just some lines with it, or I can press it down, see what marks I can get with that tool. There we go, just pushing it over. I'm using both the types of coffee because they could overlap, they could make quite a nice effect. How else can I use the tool? Can I use the other end of the fork? That was creating some nice sort of dotted effects there. Okay, my next tool I found, 2p piece. So rather than just dropping it in and finding it hard to get it back out, I'll probably go and find a little bowl or a plate where I can pour some of the coffee into. Just like that. I don't have to go fishing for my coin. I'm going to dip it in. Yes, you are going to get a little bit mucky. Create some lines with this. Does it stamp out? Okay, so there's no sort of right way, we're just experimenting. So at the moment, I'm actually liking this coin. It's got some nice lines with that. Next one, I found a cotton bud, of course. Not a used one, but a nice clean cotton bud. See if I can get some nice stamped effects. See, this darker coffee comes out quite nice and clear. Obviously you can mix more than just 2 types or 2 strengths of coffee. That is entirely up to you. I'd suggest you do this over a double page in your book, but if you just want to do 1 page, that's absolutely fine. But fill the whole page with experiments. Now, it might be that you have a cookie cutter at home. You might have a little rummage in the kitchen drawers. See what you've got. I've actually own chopsticks. So maybe if you've got a takeaway, maybe a takeaway lid you could print with it, or maybe you could do an instrument like a chopstick. They often give them out for free at takeaways. It could be a plastic bag you scrunch up. I've got one here. Got one of these cheap plastic bags here. Scrunch it up. Put it in the darker coffee, I think. I'll do it in the bowl. Dab on the side. I don't want it to be soaking. I want to create a nice sort of textured effect. So again, I've got quite a few already, and I've only been doing this for less than 5 minutes. So have a really good experiment, see what you can do. After it's dried, try and, just with a pencil or one of your blue pens, just try and label what was what, just quite subtly. I don't want you to have what was 2p coin? I don't want you to have the writing all over it, but scrunched up bag, plastic bag. It might be that you're allowed out in the garden for, a little bit, and you collect some sticks or stone prints. What was this here? We've got cotton buds. Okay, so we don't want the writing to overdo the actual experiments. I really like the fork testers there. I think that's really effective. So have a really good experiment. Use your kitchen floor, but cover or a table, cover wherever you're going to go, and then just really enjoy the mark making. So get to grips with what actually mark making is. Obviously, in school you could do it with paint. You could also do it with other media that you could press and have these kind of prints going on the paper. Later on, it could be that this leads to some sort of final piece that you use this technique. Might be that you use the fork to add on some texture to a line that you draw. Okay, so it might not be done in coffee, but it could be done in paint. Yeah. Any questions, do give me an email, g.kent@harriswimbledon.org.uk. And I look forward to seeing your experiments when we come back to school. All right, take care. Bye.